Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon and evening. Looks like we're getting a pullback day today. I don't see a lot of stuffs going on. Only thing I'm looking at today would be fly, pull back into the 9 EMA and the anchor VWAP from a swing high. A 36 is the key level. I'm probably going to trade if and actually I kind of love this pullback, and we are getting a pullback on the MU and SNTK before they get really extended a really crazy volume, like a daily volume larger than 100 billion. Hopefully they can go sideways and let the 9 EMA to catch up a little bit. That will be the best case scenario. QUBT is gapping up 26% after earnings. Pretty strong. But it is gapping into the previous swing highs and the swing lows area. I'm not a fan of buying this level. Let's see. Prowl is really strong. It is catching up and catching up fast. And W is also near the all-time highs. Where's net? Okay. Wow, Fortinet is gapping up into the all-time highs. Yeah, cybersecurity definitely a theme that's catching up. And love to see the more and more sectors participating in this rally. If I'm not holding AEHR, I would really consider buying the dip here. I think it's a pretty good pullback buy on the previous highs and the 9 EMA. QUPT is getting some follow through. Really high volume on the first 1 and 2 minutes. Gigantic volume. Fly is going a little bit too fast in the first 5 minutes after the open. I'm gonna wait for the first 15 minutes. Candle to form. IWM looks like it's bouncing at the 60-minute 50 EMA. Q is also at the 60-minute 21. The fly is getting really strong here. QUPT also having some follow through to the upside. Pretty constructive action after the open. Maybe I'm considering buying fly here. Yeah, what a pullback on AHR. Really nice actions. So strong. MU and SNTK is finding support. Really want them to like go sideways before another leg up. I don't want them to go parabolic too early. And like some stocks like CoreWeave is actually breaking down, but they're still above the weekly EMAs and the daily 50 EMA, which suggests the market is not that bullish yet. I think there's still some sellers out there. This AMKR is flagging near the 9 EMA, building higher lows. Yesterday, I believe COHR is breaking out on a really good slight pullback into the previous day high, the prior day high, pulling back slightly and then continues way up. Really strong action. And they're not even extended. They're just at this is only day one. If fly stops me out, then maybe I'll try one more time if this thing gonna find support later in the day. I also got stopped out from EMPH. So still patiently waiting. A lab is looking pretty decent. Today is showing relative strength. Find support on the 9 EMA. We looks like today's action is a little bit weak. Tried to push a high, but rejected at the 60-minute 9 EMA, maybe. And now it's trying to lose the opening range lows. So on a pullback day like this, I believe it's definitely not the time to get panicked and get shaken out from your position. Instead, it would be the best time to find stocks with relative strength and the potential support levels to find an entry. Core VIF is actually pulling back into the all-time highs anchor VWAP and the 50 EMA and the weekly 9 EMA as well. I actually would like to buy this 1-minute breakouts on QUBT, but it's also a 5-minute breakout, but I run out of buying power again, so that's that. I think if I got stopped out again and on fly, I think I'm probably not gonna do more trades today. But still, I kind of like today's action so far. I think this is a very orderly pullback, and it could be just a one day pullback and then continues ripping higher. And Oklo is the one that is looking really nice, but it's having earnings today after hours. Let's see what is a gap up or a gap down. Even if it's a gap down, maybe if it gaps down to the 21 EMA or even the 50 EMA, it could be a pullback buy level. 50 EMA also overlaps with the anchor VWAP from the swing low, so we'll see. On the other hand, if the market is gonna pull back further to the 9 EMA, maybe I'm 100% prepared for that, and I will be really keen on looking any entries when the index is really pulling back, when the Qs is really pulling back to the 9 EMA. Actually, IWM has been on the 9 EMA. Martin, if I'm open to sharing, am I trading the 7-figure account now? Yeah, the answer is yes, but I don't quite consider my account size actually, unless I ran into some liquidity issues. Am I going to hold Nebius for earnings? 100%, unless it's stopping me out today, unless stopping me out today. But talking about sentiment or like bullish or bearishness, I believe, like, from my own viewpoint, I think the real bullishness or the euphoria is based on some it's not based on the charts, or it's not based on the technicals. It's based on more like the fundamentals or the like the story side. Like if a trader is bullish for after maybe analyzing the technical side of a stock, the charts of a stock, I don't consider that is like an euphoria or getting euphoric. But if a trader is bullish because of maybe the stock is going to the earnings is going to be getting maybe 300% year-on-year increase, or probably maybe what the US government is going to increase the spending on AI because it's going to compete with China or Europe, or maybe like the big companies must adopt this service from by this company or this products by this company because it's going to increase the productivity, or this robot is going to replace the human workforce. Maybe Amazon is going to buy it. I think on the fundamental side or the story side would be more accurate to say whether we're getting really bullish or not. Euphoria is story based. Yeah. I tend to agree with that. Do I execute trades in pieces or one chunk? Yeah. I always place my trades in one chunk, no matter the entry or the stop orders. But I think when, like, if my account grows much larger, then I probably would try using like maybe like splitting my entries or in several pieces. Like for example, if I want to get a 25% position size, I may just split it into half, and each like 12% each, and then we'll also like 2 stops for each entry. But I'm still using the same entry style for even if I split my entry into pieces. So maybe I like enter, I don't know, MSTR. Yeah, if I have the first entry on like IO and Q on the Friday here, and I got my first 12%, maybe I'm considering buying on the dip on this Tuesday also, like another 12%. And I think it is very feasible. That I try to imagine it. I think it is very feasible. And because I split my entries, so and the position, the size of the position will be much smaller, and the risk will be in half too. So I don't think I will get a huge drawdown in both like financial and mental capital if I try to do it in this way. Did I add any money to my account besides the 1K and the 5K? Yes, I added, I think 6K, or I have to double check on that, but I believe it's like it's 6K or 8K some before I enter USIC in 2024. I have to reach the 20K threshold. Are you going to hold Nepis? Yes, unless it stops me out today. But I have sold NVTS today. I don't think so. I think it's a very orderly pullback. It's still above the swing high, the prior swing high, and it's just the second day after the breakout. I think the potential upside is high enough for me to hold for the pullback. QUBT, I didn't enter it. I want to enter it, but I run out of buying power, and I will probably set my stop on the 5-minute candle low. So I'm probably gonna get stopped out if I really entered QUBT. Yeah, and it's fine resistance at the prior swing lows. 1, 2, 3, 4. 14 level, 14-ish. Oil looks very interesting here. It seems not not done just yet. It is about building a gigantic flag above the $90 or $85 and below 120. So a lot of the semi names are pulling back the tape. I think probably like I think it's the semis bring down the indices, but it actually makes sense because it's also the semis who brings up the indices. Yeah, I was muted. I just talked about I cannot get in, and I don't have enough buying power for core with even with half size. So really sucks when you saw an opportunity but you don't have enough money. I think this is a really good spot, like a risk reward wise. If I bought this 5-minute breakout, it's gonna be less than 1% stop, or even if I use the 1-minute breakout around 105, there'll be like 0.7% stop, and I can, if I'm using a 30% positions, will be only 0.2% risk, risking 0.2% of my account on this trade. I think it's really worth this, worth the risk reward for the entry. Even it stops me out. I could try with 2 or 3 attempts on the pullback around this 50 EMA or the anchor VWAP. Yeah, I think this is a really good entry. And I don't think a lot of people is looking around here. I think this is a lot of traders don't like buying the dip, especially like a falling knife. I think I just got stopped out from fly. What's my daily percentage fluctuation of my trading accounts? I'm down 10% today for my whole account. So far, I quite like the pullback on MU and SNDK. How do I try to stay calm when there's a huge drawdown that wipes out a lot of gains that you have? Especially when your account is still recovering to break even. Definitely experience contributes a lot on this type of pullback day. After a huge run to the upside, there's a lot, and I used to be get shaken out all the time. I definitely not learned how to hold a huge portfolio on the pullback day like this. I always sell my position early or in panic. For example, MSTR, I shared this on Trade Alliance interview. I think I sold MSTR on this day here when it's pulled back from the highs, but by around 10%, but it's still above all the EMAs. And then I sold it early before the 200% run. And also, if you have studied moves enough, a lot of the huge moves, you see lots of like a disgusting red candles within an uptrend. It's something like this, open with a gap up and then goes down by more than 10% intraday and continues lower for 15%, like 15% pullback into the 9 EMA before another 150% move to the upside. And also this one is really crazy because it's going to very extended. You're getting a 20% intraday range pullback, but you you got another 60% move afterwards. So I think experience definitely helps you to hold your winners longer and like stay calm. And I think I always sell too early in my previous trades. So I generally won't really hold till the top of a move. I rarely wait for the weakness. For example, RGTI, I think I sold it somewhere like here on this day or this day here, and I even tried to short it from these few days before it made another 30% move and finally really tops around here. And I actually also sold it on near the highs, maybe somewhere here, but I rebought it again. So this time I rebought it, but if I'm really trying to trail it with the 9 EMA, I should have just hold the whole position and I will not get shaken out, or I won't like the stock never violates the 9 EMA. And this year with a pretty good opening, like the pretty good first quarter, then I think it's okay to like give back profits a little bit more if they really go against me and stops me out. But it's definitely different if you are trading in drawdown. So yeah, I believe if I'm trading in drawdown, I would like be more aggressive in selling the strings and lock into more profits when I'm in the drawdown. And I think there's no right or wrong. What is psychologically comfortable is not necessarily good for P&L. Yeah, truly agree. I always sell my positions when they're down a lot, and then after I sell it, and the stock's starting to bouncing back up. There are lots of examples. Lots of the times I sell it at the near the day low during a pullback. CLSK, a pullback buy at the 20 day, 20 EM, 21 EMA, maybe the 20 day. Not a fan of this overshoot, like trying to push higher but it fails. But it is at the angle full up though. Maybe it could be, yeah. Like I don't quite like the rejection at the 9 EMA or the power this from this base, from this highs. But I think if you can define your risk, if you find a tight risk entry, I think it worth a try, definitely. In the weekly, it's still above all the EMAs, so I think it's okay. But I would prefer the 9 EMA to be a little bit like closer to the anchor VWAP. But still, I would say it's okay. Because you just got a really tight stop. Fly is it's actually pretty strong compared to other stocks or the general markets. Most stocks tend to move together with the overall market, and many setups trigger on the same day. How should I apply progressive exposure? Yeah, definitely there would be a lot many days that many setups trigger at the same time. I believe either you really pick the like you're really trying to limit your risk, or just find a really tight entry, then you can try more positions, maybe like 4 or 5 positions within the same day. Like if you're risking, let's say 0.5% of your account normally, then maybe you can try to find some maybe 0.4% or 0.3% risk per trade. Like either you can like reduce your risk per trade, or find the that you time your entry better and find the really precise entry. So even if you got stopped out from all like five new positions, you will only maybe get a 2% drawdown or a max 2.5% drawdown. And I don't think it's a bad idea, because if you spot a lot of entries within the same day and they all fails, there's probably something wrong with the market, and it could be an alarming bell. Or maybe either you have made some mistakes on your entries, like it should not be a probable level to buy. QBTS opens, adds the EMA, tries to go further up and being rejected and reversing back to the EMA. Will I enter such intraday reversal? No, I don't think so. For a pullback entry, I prefer the stocks to like bounce off the support level as quick as possible. The stock opens at the support level, like the 9 EMA and the previous high. In this example, I never want the stocks to retest the support again. I would like to see it just takes off from here, from the support. So QPTS is actually a pretty weak action so far. So I'm going to end the stream here. I think it's better to wait. Maybe the market wants to pull back a little bit more. I'm not gonna force any trades today. So thank you guys for coming, and see you in the next one.